Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is Myth and Gears, and today we're going to do episode 14 of Black Sails and Dark Skies. And without further ado, I'll just let my players introduce themselves and we'll get on to business. So, first we have Jeremy.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jeremy. I have a YouTube channel called the Erasmus Expeditions. I do a lot of live plays and videos talking about RPGs and projects and things. So yeah, go check it out if you like that kind of stuff. Today, I am stepping into the boots of Bronson Fisk, aka Misker. It's going to be a fun session. Mr. Fisk, or Captain of the Triton's Folly, which he is still very uncertain of how exactly to best represent that mantle that he has that has been kind of thrust upon him. But it's a lot of fun to play him, and this group is a fantastic bunch of salty, scurvy-ridden dogs. So I'm very excited to get back into pirate mode. So thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. And yes, this crew makes a very good pirate crew. So, with that said, next we have Dave.
Hey folks, Dave back with this crazy bunch of people. I'm looking forward to reprising the role of Ephriam Archibald Ulysses Delagny and seeing if we can come out with our skin intact. And I need to find my damn vest. Somebody stole it.
Next we have Baron.
Hey everyone, I'm Baron. I am simply a member of the AbTab community at this point. Playing a lot of games both here on Myth and Gears as well as the Erasmus Expeditions. I can also attest to the channels of the fellow players I have the pleasure of gaming with today. And I will be playing Charlatan Charlie, who hopefully can get some foot back in the door of sanity. We'll see. I was pretty upset that I had lost my pseudo mask potato sack, but it seems as if my good friend Nicola here is assisting me in crafting a new one. So I'm not so bad.
And next we have M.
Hi everyone, I'm Em and I'm half of the YouTube channel Dice on Ice, which we do have RPG content on there. As of right now, I am running a Curse of Strahd campaign, which Karen is a part of, and yeah, so check us out there. I am playing the role of Nicola King, first mate and surgeon of the ship. And I'm excited to see, what kind of shenanigans happens this time. Hopefully no more books being stolen.
Right? I mean, like, what really can go wrong?
Nothing. This is going to be a good episode where nothing bad happens ever.
Ever. And last but not least, we have Jason.
Hello, once again. I am Jason. I'm going to be reprising my role as the resident asshole and pilot, Dr. Argus Scheffley. See if I can keep some dirty fingers out of my mouth this time and hopefully find out where we're going.
So we open up on a scene where we stare down through the clouds into a very becalmed ocean and a ship sitting there, basically sitting there doing nothing. The crew has found themselves in the midst of doldrums, and to make matters worse, the crew's belongings are now going missing. And there seems to be rumblings that might amount to mutiny if something is not done soon. Night has fallen. Things are becoming quiet on the decks. And I'd like to know what everyone is doing, what they're thinking of at this point.
Where's my goddamn astroglobe?
So, I don't know how much time has passed since the discovery of things having gone missing, but I think maybe Fisk has gotten to the point where he's got everybody turning out their possessions, like, in front of witnesses, and they're just going like systematically through people's stuff, looking for the missing items.
And as you're doing so, nothing is being found of other people's things on these people. And there may be at some point, hey, I didn't know that was missing, as more things are coming to light as being gone. As well as the morale for having to do this, there's a lot of grumblings throughout the ship.
I do think to quell some of the grumblings, I think Nicola would have suggested to Fisk that the officers be the first ones to show their belongings, kind of showing that they are just as willing to do this and willing to show the proof, kind of like we're all in this together and we're going to stand by our word as a crew kind of thing. So I think Nicola would encourage Fisk to have the officers do this first. She would be one of them who would invite anyone to come in. And I mean, she has quite a lot of things, being the surgeon. So lots of vials and bottles and trunks of different dried herbs and stuff. And she would show it all. But I think after that, after she has shown her things, she would be working with the others to work on the mask for Charlie.
And I think Ephriam would begrudgingly go along with it, claiming that he's kind of looking to the captain, thinking, you don't trust your officers here. But he goes along with it. And in the meantime, he's in a surly mood walking the decks of the ship, and actually ends up going to see if he can help figure out a way to mechanically assist in trying to keep his mind off of it. Try to help keep the ship running, see if we can extend the fuel or something like that. That's a little bit of mechanic background. Go ahead.
I don't understand. We're to line the crew up and go through our cabins?
You sound like you have something to hide.
I don't wish filth to stain my things, Charlie.
But you sleep in your bed every day.
My eyes narrow.
He's got a point.
I'm not saying that you're filth outright, but let's face the music. When was the last time you even bathed?
It's not my fault that we are not equipped for cleanliness aboard this vessel.
Well, it's not my fault either that I'm dirty. What do you want? Let me in the room.
Captain, surely there's a better way.
I am simply teasing you.
I said, Captain.
I'll leave.
This is not about a lack of trust. This is about proving to the others of the crew that we are subject to many of the same regulations and rules.
Kind of a harumph and a little bit of a stomp. One item more goes missing. Someone pays in blood.
Not a single one of them will touch a thing. If they wish to see, they can stand here at your door and watch as you go through to their liking. They need not even set foot in your quarters.
I would stomp off.
He kind of turns and considers that done and moves on to the next thing.
Well, Captain, I don't really have much. And Charlie just kind of drops this ragtag and patch sack full of garbage and mice. That's all I got.
Yes, thank you, Charles. If there are other things, perhaps we can keep that completely hidden.
Well, I'm trying to keep an air of transparency, Captain.
Right. Of course, Charles. And he looks like this is probably not the first time that he's mistrusted what Charles is telling him. Like, he understands that there's probably something that's not being said here, and he doesn't even want to touch on it.
I think because we were doing this by incremental checks, I believe, to rebuild my head. I think at this point you see that where I was missing flesh around the bottom portion of my face, there's kind of a bracketed collar, as well as a small apparatus to aid in my speech and enunciation now that we are rebuilding that. And as soon as I'm kind of given the clear to go, I'm going to go seek out Nicola. So, Nicola, you probably hear a rap at the door.
Yeah, and you could hear Nicola talking very quickly, not quietly, but just kind of in a very in-depth conversation with someone else, and you hear this quick come in. And if you open the door, you would see her and some of Argus's people who he gave to her to help out, looking over what looks to be kind of a schematic, almost like a blueprint kind of thing.
Can't say I really know what these little squigglies mean, but they sure do look interesting.
I think I finally figured out the problem with one of the mechanisms. Hopefully this time it won't pinch you. She kind of laughs a little bit.
Like a squint of pain and remembrance. I didn't really like the pinching.
No, we will. How are you doing?
I would actually like to request a moment of your time in private.
Yes, of course. And she looks over. Get section A of the schematics down. I think they're ready to be. The parts are ready to be made. And
As Yeah, as they are kind of dismissed. Charlotte, there's probably like some sort of operating chair of some kind, or some just the seat where I've been kind of making myself comfortable in the last few meetings here for this operation, if you will. But rather than kind of leaning back, as is the method that we have kind of utilized this station, I wait till they leave the room and I remove my glove and put my hand on the table. What is the status of my recoloring?
I want to say it has not much moved from the last time you checked. I can't remember exactly where we had finished off, if it was approaching the wrist or not.
I think it was close.
Yeah. So it hasn't progressed much more since then. It's only been a couple of days since you checked.
Hoping that Nicola kind of just does some sort of examination to kind of test what the like reaction is of the appendage I have. Nicola, if we don't move soon, I'm not going to have anything to be done about this hand.
She nods, and she's looking at it. Now, I can't remember. Is your everything works fine, right? It's just black.
Right.
Or
and
is
I think
yeah.
if when it bleeds like an oily substance as well.
Yeah, and he's missing one finger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thanks, Argus.
With the prospects of what is happening, you're right. I'm worried that it may pass the wrist, and that will make it much harder if it needs to be amputated.
Now, I know in the past I've been fairly irrational when approaching the idea of amputation, but I really think we should double down on this, and you need to cut it off.
Yeah, Nicola looks visibly just like uncomfortable, but less, I guess, less adverse to it. You can see that she is way less adverse to it than she first was as she looks at the hand. And I'm going to try something. This might hurt a bit, but I'm...
More pinching.
Not quite. And she's just put your hand down, and she is going to take if she has to, she probably would go up and so that she can have a blade, get a blade, kind of rinse it in a bit of salt water and come back down. And she wants to cut along like the top, like just very small cuts along the top to double check if the line of this blackness is, I guess, is the extent of whatever infection this is. Just to make sure that it's still bleeding regularly in the uninfected part.
Okay, so to be clear, you're making an incision like slightly above the black line on his hand?
She would make one on the black line, and she would be very careful to clean it before she makes the incision on just past the black line.
Okay. So when she makes the incision on the black, like on the black line, in the black area, the blood is thick and oily and kind of glistens that inky blackness that you have seen before.
Oh, would you be able to keep some of it, like put it in a vial?
Sure.
Yeah. think that she would definitely do that.
How much do you let drip into the vial?
Just a like very small amount. I'm not sure. Like a few drops.
Okay. When you go to slice above the line in the non-blackened skin, the blood is red. But I need you to make a, what is it, perception? It's not perception, it is... Oh yeah, okay, perception. Perception roll.
Okay.
Difficulty average.
Okay, I think that she is going to use my skill once. Oh, I forget if I have to use story dice. I don't think so. Yes. Do we have story points?
Oh yeah, there's 5.
Perfect.
In your
Yeah.
pool right now.
She's going to use a story point, and once per session, I can replace any check with my intellect.
Okay. So this will be perception with your intellect.
Yes. And I'm really smart, and I forgot to open up the dice roll. Okay. So you said medium difficulty, and so that's 2, and
Yeah, average. Yeah.
That is 1 success.
Okay, so as his blood is like dripping in you, I don't know if you're catching that in a vial as well. And it looks normal. And just as you're about to put it away, something catches your eye and you look back into the vial, and very slight, you can see it. It's almost like little, as somebody said in the chat, wriggly worms. These inky black tendrils.
Oh God.
Like little, those microfiber strings kind of.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're black and they're inky.
Yeah.
Nicola, you're making a face. I don't like that face.
I think, could I make some sort of roll to see how quickly she can mask her reaction in front of...
This would be a deception versus Charlie's perception, I believe. Vigilance. So Charlie would roll his vigilance, you'd roll your deception.
Just a straight roll? No. Yeah.
Yeah. So no the bad dice, just...
Okay. All right. Yeah, I got 1 success.
I got 1 success, 5 advantage.
So
if advantage matters.
I would say, like, you kind of got a tie there, except that you have advantage. So Nicola, you are, trying to hide whatever reaction on your face. Charlie, you don't know exactly what it is, but there's something off with Nicola.
Yeah. Okay.
Jeez,
yeah,
Nicola, you've seen some blood before. Don't get all queasy on me now.
Nicola's like kind of speechless, which is probably pretty rare for her, like, just especially when it comes to being like dealing with medicine. You've always seen her as being very like professional and very knowledgeable, and she's struggling to find the words right now, and she just
Freaking me out.
I do not think, Charlie, that amputating your hand is an option anymore.
What does that mean?
I don't think that it would help.
But surely if we cut it off, it'll stop the spreading.
And all she does in response to that is she holds up the vial of the quote unquote clean blood into the light or into whatever candle or whatever light source there is, and she holds it up so that it's in front of your face, so that in the light you might be able to see this small black worm.
I see.
Now, don't panic. We have resources. We're going.
Who said I'm panicking? Everything's fine. I need a drink. Do we have alcohol still on this ship? yeah. I think Charlie takes a step and passes out.
Yeah. Nicola just kind of stands there like she's going to help Charlie up and kind of sit him up so that and yeah, just sit him up, head between the knees kind of thing, just to get him to relax a little bit and wake up. Charlie, it's going to be. She stops. She can't even say, say it's good. We'll figure this out.
Okay. I need a minute, and he's going to leave.
How small is this worm? Like, is it like hair thin kind of thing?
Yeah, very it's very small. I don't know if like you could even like grab it or touch it or anything. Like, it is tiny. Yeah.
Okay. I think with that, she's going to give some instructions to keep building the mask. So I don't know if you want. I have to make a check per day for that, correct?
Yeah.
And have I already, or do I need to make another one?
You have made one for this day.
Okay.
You had 2 successes and a triumph, I believe. So you get a special feature. So that's where we're at right now.
Right. Okay. Thank you. So I think Nicola is going to take these vials of blood, and she is going to go to the book that they had found in the in that area in the vault thing, and even though she can't read any of the languages, she's going to look at the pictures and see if there's anything in there that would possibly mention a little black worm in blood.
So you're talking that ancient text that you got from the university?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where would you guys have stored that?
That's a good question. I do think that Nicola would keep it relatively hidden, but where, I think she would keep it with her father, unless Captain Fisk wanted to keep it somewhere else. But yeah, I think she would keep it safe in the hands of her father.
Okay. Before we go to that, I'm going to kind of go back to Argus and his room being turned out. Who's actually conducting the like the search through the room and the finding things?
Yes, who am I death staring?
I guess if Argus is that distraught over anybody else like coming through his room, then Fisk will just do it himself, but in front of people where they can watch.
Okay, so as you turn out his stuff, like the trunk, the desk table, and you find all this stuff, nothing is untoward. Like you don't find any of the missing items so far. And as you get to the bed rack, you notice that Argus has made another, like a box above it.
A box above his bed?
Yeah, it's like a lockbox.
Okay. And it's locked currently?
Do you try to open it?
Yeah.
It's not. It is unlocked.
He kind of will look to Argus as if to say, you know, I'm hoping that I don't find anything in here. And then he's going to open it and peer in.
It's not mine. I'm holding it for a friend.
Which is kind of odd because as you look in the box, it's empty.
You're holding an empty box for a friend.
This is where I store various maps and writings, sir.
There's nothing in here.
Currently, no.
Were your maps also taken?
Sir, the maps are in your quarters. Remember?
And they are not usually in my quarters, are they not?
No, sir. We were plotting courses just last night.
Very well. He kind of gives the box another once over. He'll shut it.
And as you continue your search through his room, again, you find nothing of note, of interest. And I think it's about this time, there's a commotion. Kind of coming from the crew's quarters downstairs, or like under deck, and coming up onto the deck themselves. Nicola, this commotion kind of passes like right past you, as you and Charlie are in the room, like you're taking care of Charlie, trying to bring him back from unconsciousness.
Is it, you said it's past? It's,
Yeah, it's going past your door, like going past your door and then up the stairs to the deck, the upper deck.
all right. Nicola would peek her head out.
So you can't really see a lot, but there's like I'm not going to call it a mob, but there is definitely a group of many of the crew members. And it's like something is in the midst of them. And you can almost kind of see like a struggling something in the middle of this group. And they pass your room and they're going to the upper deck.
Oh, immediately. If there's something that they're kind of fighting over, like in the middle of them, you say?
Yeah.
She's immediately going to go in and begin pushing them aside, probably a little roughly with her arm, maybe a little more than she intended, but she's definitely just like pushing through them, trying to get what's going on here. What is this?
We caught him. We found him. The thief. We're taking him to Captain to have him deal with him the way he said he would.
Yeah, Nicola's going to just try and push her way in just to see if she can see who it is.
Okay, make me a, I guess brawl.
Brawl. Okay.
Or athletics. As you try to like push your way through.
I think she would choose brawl because, yeah, these men are probably not, even if they don't mean to, they're probably jostling and.
So this will be a 3 purple.
Okay.
Sorry, it'd be 2 purple, but I'm going to upgrade 1 to a red. So 1 purple, 1 red.
Oh, okay. 1 purple, 1 red. Okay. Okay. That is 1 failure, 2 advantage, and 1 triumph.
So is the success of the triumph already canceled with your failures?
No. It looked like it was counted differently from my successes.
Okay. Yeah,
Oh,
you're using the dice app, right?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Okay, so you still failed, so you aren't going to make any headway in there. However, you have a triumph that you can spend and you have 2 advantage. So you can have a good thing happen and some other good things happen.
I'm wondering if, though I can't see who is in the middle, her kind of pushing through the crowd have maybe kind of separated them a little bit, so they're not as, because she doesn't want the guy to die before they actually get to Captain Fisk. You know what I mean? Which could happen maybe in like a mob like that. So could I use that triumph to just kind of loosen people up a little bit so that they're not so close?
Yeah, let's say you distract enough of them that kind of fall back to kind of like deal with you, I guess. That the crowd surrounding whatever is in the midst of it is lessened, and so that will be so they'll go up and you can see them kind of disappearing up the stairs, a little bit less congested as it was
She'd run back down to Charlie because you said he was passed out, or
he was
left, or okay.
This is just when you had reviving him from him falling.
Okay, so she's gonna rush in and see if Charlie is there, if he's awake, and if he is, just we have a situation. Apparently, they caught the thief.
How?
I have a feeling there is some panic going on right now. As you and I both saw or know, it's probably not a person. I very much doubt that they've caught them, but I don't want anyone to die. We should head up.
And as they're walking, I know we've discussed that it's probably not a member of the crew, but could we have had a stowaway, perhaps? Or are we thinking that this has something to do with the other thing?
I really do hope that it is a stowaway.
Yes, I'm quite over the other thing.
Nonetheless, let's let's help out our captain dealing with this.
Please, after you.
Yeah. Nicola would head up following this mob.
Ephriam, where have you been?
Well, since Argus was busy getting his getting turned out, I would imagine that he is probably down just working to keep himself busy and keep his mind off of things, and sitting there. He keeps having bouts of like he's just muttering to himself as he's looking to them, and he's giving his crew different orders. And they probably clean the cannons. We're getting to the point where we might be getting cleaned them too many times. But he's telling him, I want to see that orange sparkle. You got me? Now I got a southern drawl for some reason. So yeah, he's probably busy down keeping himself the gun bay ordered and ready, because that's the worst thing that could happen, is for us to be hit right now during all of this.
Okay, so the commotion goes to the upper deck. Captain and Argus, you can hear it just as the search of Argus's room is finishing. Captain, we've got him.
The fuck?
Don't know. It's from one thing to the other, I suppose. He's going to turn and kind of stalk that direction.
And as you come,
Argus will follow.
okay, and as you guys come out to the onto the upper deck proper, you see a group of men kind of surrounding some struggling figure. And as you approach and they see you, they throw a person down to your feet extremely roughly. We found him. This is the guy. And you see before you on the ground, if I can remember how to share. Did it share? Yeah.
Yeah.
You see this gentleman, a little bit bloodied now.
Bit of an overstatement, isn't it, gentlemen?
You guys would recognize him.
Mm-hmm. This is Nicola's father, right?
This is.
Yeah.
And it's almost about this time too that Nicola and Charlie, you guys would be arriving onto the deck as well.
Fisk kind of looks down, realizes who it is, and then kind of looks up just in time to see kind of Nicola and Charlie kind of coming up on the deck. And his eyes lock with Nicola's, and there's this almost this like a pity that kind of flashes behind his eyes. And he looks back down to this man and he says, is there truth to this?
No, it's... I don't understand. It's all... No lies. All lies.
Have you been taking things from
No.
the crew of this ship?
I would never.
What proof do you have? He turns to the people who kind of shoved him here.
And for a moment, it's quiet. And they kind of look at each other. And then one guy from
I
the back,
asked for proof of this man's guilt.
one guy in the back says, well, things started going missing when he came aboard.
That is not proof. Do you understand the concept of proof?
Well, nothing else was happening. Not till he came aboard. Yeah. I mean, they say it was Captain Jack Copper himself that broke him out of the irons. Bet you he's a spy.
So, so your suspicions are enough to condemn this man to death. That's sufficient for you.
Well, it's not one of us.
Would someone else's suspicions of you be enough to justify your hanging from the yardarm?
No one knows who this man is. He just appeared on our ship. Then
I
started
know
going
who
missing.
he is. That should be enough. Take him to my quarters. Nicola, please join us.
You see Nicola is full of rage. She hasn't said anything because she is just looking just incredulously at these crewmates in shock and disgust, and very almost robotically, very stiffly, she follows you, but her hands are clenched in fists.
So I think once we get him back to my quarters, I'm gonna have everyone else who's not a member of the officers group, and Stitch leave. Once the doors are closed, he's going to kind of round on Stitch, and he's going to say, I know that the suspicions are all that stands at this moment, but you understand, if it is proven true, what is going to happen to you?
I swear, I've done nothing. Nothing.
I do not know you well enough to trust your word. Then he kind of looks over at Nicola, and he says, I do, however, trust your daughter. Nicola, will you vouch for your father and his innocence?
I mean, she looks from the captain to her father, and just
Nicola? And he's got this kind of almost pleading look in his eyes, this old weathered face. Nicola?
as long as there is no proof, no hard proof, then I will vouch for his innocence. We cannot listen to the chaos and fear of people, of men who don't even know what is happening. We can hardly understand this ourselves. But superstition is not enough.
I
feel I should not even have to vouch for him. The evidence should speak.
This dam is close to collapsing, Nicola. If they believe this man to be guilty, with or without proof, if we find him to be innocent without proof, then that dam is going to break. We're looking at mutiny.
Then we find everyone guilty, because there's no proof of anyone doing it. Therefore, what, everyone is guilty? That makes no sense, Captain. They are afraid, and I agree that this is going to go bad, but we can't kill everyone for the whim of because when happens next, when more things go missing, because we've killed an innocent man, who will they turn to then, Captain? Who will they turn on then? How many people will you kill before you satisfy their insanity?
I am not planning to kill your father. At least not yet. And he kind of levels a look at Stitch. However, what I'm saying is that it is not his guilt that needs to be proven currently. We currently need to prove his innocence in front of all of them. And he kind of points just out of the room.
Then put him in irons, put him in the brig.
It may be best to do that for his own safety for the moment anyways. Very well. We'll put him in irons, as you have suggested. We will put him in the brig. I'm going to put you in charge of making certain that he is watched by people that you can trust. And I want his room, well, not his room, his belongings, whatever they may be, to be turned out. We need to search them more thoroughly than we have anyone else in front of the crew.
And what of that book, Captain? Are we going to show the crew that?
Bring the book to me. Do it quietly, if you can. Charles, he kind of looks to you. You are discreet when you need to be. I call upon your discretion now.
All right, Captain. I can do that.
We are walking on the edge of a razor here. If we do not start moving soon, I'm afraid there's going to be nothing to keep the dam I mentioned from breaking. I don't know how to fix this situation, but whatever it is, we must do it soon. They are simply looking for an excuse to spill blood at this point.
Nicola, we should go now then.
Nicola nodded, but she would leave with Charlie to go with her father as well. She would gently take his arm.
If I may speak to this man's character. I've spent time with him, and I don't believe he's done any of the things that they're calling out to him. He's not a corner-faced sailor. He's not one of those pockmarked little kids out there. He knows how ships run, right, Stitch? You're not stupid enough to do this kind of bullshit.
Thank you, Ephriam. No, I would never do something like this. Never.
Right. All he's done since he's just helped us. And I think that this is very unfair to him. But my suggestion, if I may, Captain, is that we parade him in front of the crew for now in chains. But I would like to put one of my men, I trust him, Pierre, to guard his cell, and during which time he not be left in chains. And I will put my reputation on it. This man has spent enough time in chains.
The brig is sufficient confinement for me. But yes, I believe having him bound in front of the crew at least will hopefully quell their thirst for the moment.
Thank you, sir.
Nicola, is this sufficient for you? Having Ephraim's men guard your father?
Nicola nods.
All right. Then let's do it, and then let's pray that it buys us more time.
And I think as you're leading him out, as you're putting the chains, irons on him, Stitch turns to you, Nicola, and he, before you lashes one hand, he touches you. Nicola, my dear, I did not do this thing.
Nicola just nods. I know. This is the best we can do to ensure your safety. I'm sorry.
Thank you. I will go. And with that, he doesn't resist anything. He lets you put the irons on, and he walks out with you, head kind of bowed, not looking anywhere but at the deck in front, as you take him to the brig.
I do think that as Nicola is leaving, she would turn her head back to the captain. And if anyone tries to say the stupidity that nothing had happened before he came on, might you remind them of the sky turning black and those creatures coming from it? Things were going wrong much, much before he came.
It was a good point, Nicola. Yes. I will make certain that they do not forget.
Thank you, Captain. And she would then leave with her father.
So once he's in the brig, and Pierre is on guard in front, I guess I should say that you did manage to go by like enough of the crew, and the crew saw there's angry looks, some nods, some smiles, etc., that he's being led away. So maybe for now the grumblings will have ceased. You're not sure, but tomorrow will be another day for sure. And you place him in the brig. Nicola, what are you doing at that point?
At the brig, I think Nicola would just, after her father's been put in, she would just look, and if there is anything that you know that could help us, you most likely know just as much as I do that nobody in the crew has done this. If you know anything at all that might help.
I'm sorry, my dear. I do not know what is happening here, but you gave me that book to take care of, and I've really been nowhere else but on it. I've been sleeping beside it so no one can get it, but I fear right now it has been left alone.
Charlie's on his way. He'll get it quickly, hopefully before anyone else.
And
You've been looking at that book. You've studied that book. Have you seen anything about black worms, worm-like things in blood?
Yes, I have. In fact, it is called the taint. I don't understand it, but it keeps being referred to as that, and it changes one. In all of the passages I read, it was a precursor to strange abominations roaming.
And is there anything in there that even suggests how to get rid of it? How to cure it, maybe?
No. Nothing. In everything I read, it always ended in one way. The complete transformation of the infected.
Nicola just kind of nods, and she just will make sure you're kept well here, fed well, and as comfortable as you can be. I'm sorry that you have to do this.
I understand. I understand.
And Nicola would leave with a very sick feeling in the pit of her stomach.
So Charlie, you go to where this Stitch has been kind of residing. He hasn't had a hammock like the rest of the crew. He's just been kind of sitting, basically sleeping on top of some bags of rice and beans in a corner. And you go there, and the man has nothing. Very, very few possessions. And you look for where, I believe that Nicola would have told you where the book should have been. And you find it. It is still there.
I think there would almost probably be like a cinematic moment where Stitch says the culprit changes, and that's where you see Charlie kind of opening a door and walking in, maybe a shadow playing across his face, kind of giving him this like dark overture. He walks over, acknowledging that this guy has nothing. I mean, if you look at him, you know he's got nothing. And Charlie himself has very few things. And he kind of almost feels sad that the crew is so willing to kind of ostracize this person simply because of panic and fear. But he finds the book, and he's holding it with his gloved hand. And there's almost like a sick correlation between the two, but he tries to ignore it. And he kind of unbuttons his tunic and slides the book in, fixing his shirt back up.
And so at this point, it is getting late. The crew that had kind of assembled before have dispersed. Most are headed to their hammocks, their quarters, etc. What are your last thoughts before you two turn in for the night?
Well, I had thoughts for Captain Fisk, but he seems to be indisposed at the moment.
We'll wait until he gets back. How about you, Ephriam? What are you doing before you turn in?
So once we get Pierre in place and, we step away, I just kind of quietly walk the deck and sort of watching the crew, observing, taking a slow walk, so to speak. And I'm going to actually try to turn in a little early and get up about a couple hours later and have one of my gunners come and wake me up. And I'm going to kind of watch, again, patrol the deck, patrol the ship, so to speak, just walking through, observing to see if something's brewing. You know what I mean? And but making it look like I'm just sort of walking off frustrations and so on. So I'm not very, my perception's not very high, but I am paying attention to what's going on. I'm forcing myself to pay attention. How's that?
Sounds good. You can give me a perception roll. This one is going to be difficult. So that is 4 purple.
Four purple.
Yep.
That's rough.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. So I got 2 success and 2 failure. But I gotta roll it again because the dice count. Ooh, 3 failure and 2 threat. I'm gonna get ambushed.
Okay, so
No successes because it all. So I have 1 threat and I have 2 threat and 1 failure.
okay. As you walk the deck, you see nothing out of the ordinary, nothing that stands out at all. That is what we have for you. Things seem like those on guard, like the ones standing on lookout for the evening, are in positions. Everything seems to be normal, I guess, if you could say, if anything's normal on the ship lately.
Okay. So I'm just gonna wander down and then check on Stitch before I turn in for the evening. For my
Argus,
second half, if you will.
sure. Argus, what are you doing before you turn in for the evening?
I find myself up on the forecastle. We're still sailing at sea, yeah? Are we in the air?
You're on the sea, but you're not actually sailing anywhere.
Oh, I thought we were moving.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I find myself on the forecastle, just kind of haphazardly listening to various crew members, trying to hear some of their talks amongst themselves, see if I might hear anything that would pique my interest. I have my sword at my hip.
You can give me that perception check as well. Difficult, so 4 purple.
Purple.
Yeah.
This isn't going to go well. We get 2 greens, so here we go. Yeah, that didn't go well at all. Cheat sheet. Okay. I got 3 threats, 1 advantage, 1 success, and 1 failure. So broke even on success and failure, and I still got 2 threats.
Okay, so for as well for you, you see nothing out of the ordinary as you're looking around. People are tense, but other than that, I mean, the ship is how it's kind of been every other night so far in the past week and a half.
Has anybody been standing out as speaking out more often than the others, putting blame on people more so than the others? Kind of like, is it noticeable that any of them might been kind of egging this on with the crew? Have this something we've noticed at all, or?
I would say no at this point. It's almost like a general undertone. It just kind of ratcheted up a bit after Captain's talk on the deck earlier in that day.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, no, like nobody is actually standing out for you.
After a good couple of hours up here, getting the air on my face and listening and not really hearing anything, just kind of talk to no one except really myself and just insolent cowards, and storm back under deck to check on the crew, or my guys who have been working on the engine room, check on their progress.
Communication received.
And the communication was received. They
Communication has been received.
they look like they're making good progress. You think that sometime tomorrow there should have been enough success in changing of the motor, like the engine, to allow you to use it as a motor starting tomorrow.
Okay. And before I leave, Marcellus is down here, isn't he?
Yes.
I know Jephthah was working with I know, how dare I, names and such.
Jephthah is now with Nicola.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to give Marcellus a set of dice and a small bag of coin, and just kind of lean in and tell him to enjoy himself, but to keep his ears open. And then I'm going to go turn in for the night.
Okay, cool. Charlie, what were you doing?
After having acquired the book, I didn't return directly back to Fisk. I probably would have tried to mingle amongst the crew. Kind of tying into what Argus was doing, see if I could find someone who seems to have been like a ringleader. Or the person who was causing the most ruckus and trying to get Stitch crucified.
Sure. You're trying to figure out. So are you talking to people, or are you just listening?
I went to the mess hall to eat with the crew. I went about my usual day, but kept an eye open.
Okay, so for this one, give me a perception roll. This one will be hard. So 3 purple.
Okay. How good am I at perceiving? Not bad. So if I have a 4 in cunning and 1 pip, that's
So you get 3 green, 1 yellow.
woohoo. I'm gonna go ahead and use my touch by fate to get 2 blues as well.
Okay.
Because I'm a looking man. Man, this game always has so much stuff. I have 2 success, 1 being a triumph, and 2 advantage.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So yeah, it's almost like you kind of disappear into the woodwork, if you will, of the ship. And as you're sitting there, it's like the crew forgets that you even walked into the room. And they start talking like they would have if you hadn't have been there. And you hear so much information. You know exactly who is the main instigator of that, of the rounding up of Stitch. In fact, you can give me his name.
Philip Cordelia. I had a pen to write that name down somewhere.
And this is in fact the same crew member who has been the most active in the descent of Captain Fisk's captaincy. Almost from day 1 of Captain Fisk taking over, this guy has grumbled. And he is among the crew, I guess, kind of a mover and shaker. He's pretty popular, if that's a word, or maybe just terrifies the other crew members. Anyway, he's got his own group of guys who just kind of wish he maybe potentially had a little bit more influence on the ship. Yeah, cronies is the word. So yeah, there's a group of them. You know from the beginning that this guy has the most dissension, and he's got followers.
Like a lot of followers?
A fair bit, yeah. I mean, if we're talking like you guys have, I don't know how many crew you'd have on this ship. It's a surprise class, so I don't know. If you had like 40 crew member, he's probably got a dozen or so on his side, at least. Now, how loyal, you don't know that part, but definitely he's got the ears of many.
After deducing this, kind of gauging the rest of the crew, did I see kind of like everyone's like standing now that we have Stitch in the brig? Are they satisfied? Are they at least a little bit more content, despite him not being outright murdered?
Yeah, there's a little grumblings that the captain didn't keep his word about just outright executing this guy, but they're at least thankful that he's locked away and that the captain is somewhat listening to what they're saying.
Right. Having kind of acknowledged these things, I will head up to Captain Fisk. So there'd be a...
Yes, come in.
Opening the door and shutting it quickly behind him, reaching into his tunic, pulling out the book, and setting it on the desk.
Thank you, Charles. He's gonna. I'm assuming there's some kind of locked drawer or like an equivalent of like a safe or something, lockbox, in the captain's quarters. He's gonna immediately take the book to that lockbox and put it in there. There was no issue in acquiring this quietly.
No, like you said, when I like to be discreet, it's not really that hard.
It's very much appreciated, Charles. Thank you. Though I know you are displeased with the current arrangement of responsibilities on board the ship, I do know that you are incredibly valuable to me.
Oh, that was a bit of a lapse in security in my own mind. I think that, given everything that's happened, maybe I don't want that position like I thought I did. I mean, let's face it, Nicola is a fine first mate. She does the job well, and she does things and knows things and articulates things that I'm not exactly able to do. I had a moment of realization where I deduced my role on the ship, and I think that where I'm at is where I'm best to be.
I'm glad that you agree. I think the crew thinking of you more as one of their own is going to serve us well, maybe even in times like these.
Well, I mean, truthfully, I think them having an ally amongst the officers does bring a sense of security. But with that being said, I have done some listening, and I have a few questions for you.
Of course.
First, who do you think is stealing our things?
He kind of pulls his chair back and sits down, and he produces like a bottle of, I don't know, maybe port or something, something that's a little bit more of a reserve. And he'll pour himself and Charles a glass, and he sits down and kind of puts his feet up on the desk. I have no idea. I have my doubts that it may be something of this world.
Well, I am glad you're at least open to the idea. I would have hated to come in here spouting something of that nature without you in agreement, but Nicola and I were on the deck as you were addressing the crew, kind of gauging the reactions, and well, no one really seemed guilty to me.
That is what I have feared to be the case.
But unfortunately, they've reached mob mentality.
Yes, I think we are reaching a breaking point very quickly. I truly hope that August is able to fulfill his promise tomorrow.
I have every faith in him. My next question, what do you think of Philip Cordelia?
He's known for vocalizing his displeasure, but other than that, he seems a fine sailor.
Very well. It has seemed to me that he has been at the forefront of accusations and tumultuous events here aboard the ship. Figure maybe an eye on him might not be a bad idea.
You believe him to have clout amongst the men?
I not only believe it, I know it. There's at least a dozen that follow him.
That's too many.
Whether that's through loyalty or fear, I cannot say yet, but I can see what I can find out.
Very well. When we reach Port Havron, I think it might be best that we find another ship of birth for Philip.
I think that would be wise. Finally, speaking of Port Havron, I had some tests done on my hand this morning by Nicola. And I think that she believes. I don't know if I can save my hand. She drew blood from a lower part of my arm, and it had evidence of the taint.
Beyond the markings.
Aye. And I would pull off the glove and reveal like the incisions that Nicola had made where she had drawn the blood. I don't know if this is spread throughout my whole body or if it's just making its way into my arm, but I fear for my life.
I'm sorry, Charles. He kind of leans forward and pours more of the port into Charles's glass.
Charles he's not really so much drinking it with any sort of enthusiasm as he is just kind of swirling the beverage in the glass, looking into it.
With any luck, I bet we'll know someone that we can speak with who can get to the bottom of this and hopefully reverse what has happened to you.
Well, I certainly like to err on the side of hopefulness and optimism. But with all things in regards to your captaincy, we should plan for the unexpected. He sets the basically undrank glass on your table. Thank you, Captain. If I may.
Of course, yes.
And Charlie would leave.
Does Charlie then go back to his hammock?
Yeah.
Okay. What does the captain do before he turns in?
I think he makes like triple sure that all of the valuables are locked away properly. That the door to his quarters is also locked, barred if that's possible. God, yeah, I think before he actually goes to sleep, he finishes the glass of port that he was drinking and then also moves on to Charles's. And as he's finishing, he's got that skull back out on his desk and is just staring into like its empty eye sockets, just trying to work this puzzle over in his mind as best he can. Unfortunately, Fisk is not a brilliant man, and I don't know that he's going to be able to discern anything else, but he is fixated with this thing.
Nicola, is there anything you wanted to do before you turn in?
So I think that Nicola would attempt to sleep, but the words of her father can't seem to turn off her mind on the finality soundingness of his words. And I think you just see her tossing and turning, and then all of a sudden she just kind of sits up. No. No, I refuse to believe that. And I am willing to take whatever like negative consequences, but I don't think that she would sleep that night. I think she would have taken the blood from Charlie from the vials and just be doing testing to it, looking at it with the very simple tools that she has, anything that she can do, just like racking her mind over and over, reading books, reading the stuff that she has had from the university, and dropping, like she would take a drop of the blood and she would try and do something with it. You know what I mean? Like she would just try to put alcohol in it, or just try all of these different experiments to see if she can gain any iota of knowledge about this thing. And it's also fine if nothing comes of it. That's just what she would do. She would almost drive herself to the point of like obsession over this thing throughout the night.
So I'm going to let you take a do a medicine check. This will be difficult, so 4 purples. You're also going to take 4 strain for staying up.
Okay.
All night.
So a hard medicine check. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that is actually 4 successes. If I did that right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Yep. 4 successes.
Okay. So you're playing around with the blood, doing various things over the course of the night, and you can see that one vial, the vial of his like the fresh blood. As the evening progresses, you could see, like maybe you took and split it into 2 batches or something, but the one batch is those black stringy worm-like things. There's more of them as time progresses. It's like they're multiplying. In the second batch that you took, this is the one maybe you added some alcohol to it. You were just playing around. You notice it didn't cure it, but it didn't grow either. So it's almost like it stunted whatever was happening. In the dark vial, the one, nothing you have done, any of the tests that you could think of, nothing seemed to help. Like change it back or anything. Like you just dead end after dead end after dead end.
Yeah. Okay. But in the blood of the that was only had the worms in it, that wasn't fully infected, she would try something. She would try to put one, this is kind of like her last ditch thing. She would try and put one drop of the black blood into the clearer blood to see how quickly it would kind of take over, or if it would change anything at all.
Yeah. Okay. So you do that. Which batch did you put it in? The one that's had sat without the alcohol, or the one with the alcohol?
She would do both, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you put it into the one without the alcohol, and it's like it's not instantaneous, but you can see the change happen right before your eyes. It just, within a matter of like minutes, it is completely black itself. It has lost all sense that it was blood, except for the fact that it's still kind of has that viscosity that it had before, but there is no more red. Like it is completely, and as you're looking at it, it's like it's almost like the worms or whatever had completely taken over it 100%. You put it into the sample with the alcohol, and it doesn't seem to do anything for a while. But then when you come back and look at it about an hour or so later, it is starting to change, though it is definitely a slower pace. But you can see it almost like happening in front of your eyes.
So I
Kinda
think
like-
seeing, yeah. Okay. So I think seeing that, Nicola is going to be rushing with a bottle of alcohol to Charlie's room. And I imagine this is like 3 a.m. and she just begins banging on Charlie's door. Charlie,
What?
Charlie, wake up.
What do you want?
I want you to drink this, and we're going to have to cut off your hand.
Right now.
You could see, yeah, Nicola's like, her eyes are like so dark from lack of sleep. She just has this like very, like when you get very tired, you don't blink a lot. Your eyes just kind of stay open and wild.
You have to understand that, I think you need to sleep before we cut off my hand.
I'm so sorry, Charlie. I shouldn't have doubted you before. We should have done this right away.
And I agree, but I still think you should sleep first.
All right. I will get a few hours. Be ready. I need you to drink this. She just holds out the alcohol to you. Drink as much as you can without getting sick, but...
Okay. I can do that.
She just like nods. Good.
Good night.
A few hours, and we'll have to do this. And as she's leaving, don't forget to drink.
I'm not that kind of girl.
And then I guess Nicola would attempt to get a few hours of sleep.
Charlie doesn't drink it.
Wow. All right. So as we see the unopened bottle, undrank bottle, on the shelf there by Charlie's bed, we kind of pan out as the darkness, full dark now of the sky, falls upon the decks of the ship. There's very little movement on the ship, as just a few crew that are out there, keeping an eye on things or manning their posts. When all of a sudden, kind of like maybe in a moonbeam or something, a twinkle, we see a glint of metal on the deck as it moves from a shadow to another shadow. But no one sees this at all. And that's where we're going to take a bio break. So we will take a break. We'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes and carry on with the last half of the episode. So thank you guys.
Being a pirate is tough. Tell you what.
Yar.
Cost life and limb.
Finger.
Dave, have you ever been in the middle of something and something clicks in your head and you need to write it down before it leaves?
Yep.
Yeah, that hit me.
I was just making sure. You kind of looked mad, and I was like, wait.
Oh, no.
That happens to me when I'm trying to go to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
It seems to be the most common time for that shit. My brain
just
like,
sits there and
won't let it go. Yep.
The shower.
Leah accuses me of that all the time. I'll be thinking about something. She's like, why are you so mad? What are you talking about? I'm not mad. I'm good.
You smell the burning? That's me thinking.
Yeah, the hamsters are tired. That's all.
So you have thinking Jason face?
Yep. I guess so. I guess it looks pissed off.
TJF.
He's very intense.
That and my kids are yelling. So, you know. What else is new?
Always fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I got.
They're screaming across the house, shut up.
Dude, I feel bad for them. I can't take them anywhere. You know? They're just kind of stuck here and bored out of their minds.
Yeah, I'm about over the shouting through the house.
Mm.
I'll be sitting like upstairs in the bathroom, and I can hear from outside a child screaming my name. It's like, is there no peace?
No. Nope.
Never
You
peace.
signed up for this.
Is there no peace?
No rest for the wicked.
Smile and love them.
It's like Jeremy said, I love you, you little shit. Get out of my face.
It's knowing the difference between loving someone and wanting to be around them.
Yes.
There is a distinct difference, and it's okay that they both exist in the same time. I love you, but I don't want to be around you right now.
Yes. I am changing.
Get away.
I am going to change the fucking doorknob on this door to a key lock.
Yeah, I could see that.
After this, it's back to the garage. Clean that up a bit. I got some space in the attic that I can shove some of this stuff. And then
You got to hit that attic up soon before it gets disgusting here in Texas.
oh god, I know.
It's already nasty in attics right now, but
Yeah.
in the heat of the summer, like I don't know about Dallas, but like here it's like 140 degrees in the attic during the summertime.
But you guys also have that nasty, swampy, fucking 3,000% humidity.
It's very true. You step outside and you're just like drenched from your
Yes.
sweat. It's lovely.
When I used to drive down there, when I was a driver, if you cracked your window just a bit, the inside of your cab from where the AC had been running would just fog up and you can't see anything.
Yep. You get condensation inside of stuff all the time.
Oh, yeah.
The extreme temperature difference. Oh, yeah. Swamp.
Yeah. I love Louisiana. I could never live there.
No. It's bad enough here.
Yeah.
And like the mosquitoes. Oh, God.
Oh, you mean
I'm not
pterodactyls?
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the summer just because of those. But
You can hear the mosquitoes coming at you from 30 yards away.
there was one summer that was so bad. My mother was moving and we were helping her. And walking from one place to another, they would be bouncing off of you because they were so thick. And like you could get inside of the car and like shut the door and you can hear them like pinging against the glass, and like you can still hear the droning of their flying.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's like a horror movie.
Who hasn't finished their game of Jumanji?
Right?
Dude, you get close to the swamps down here, man, and there's some critters in there that you don't even want anything to do with.
Yeah, that's why I'm thankful it freezes once a year here. Michigan is a gigantic swamp.
It's the only redeeming quality, man, is the people are cool and the food is great.
We have some of that here, not much.
Yeah, I read somewhere that like Houston is actually like pretty close to being one of the top destinations for food, like top food.
Really?
People who are into food. We have like one of the most varied like range of restaurants and things that you can find.
I like variety to better. We're gonna switch that word to that. Uh-oh.
That sounds good.
The afternoon's wrestling has commenced.
Yep. I was gonna say that was a sibling done stream.
Yeah.
Jason's walking by with a card.
Yeah. 5 out of 10. You need to work on it.
Blood sport has begun.
Round 3. Begin.
Yeah. Ting, ting,
Finish him.
Mortal Kombat.
Fatality.
I showed Becca the first Mortal Kombat movie the other day.
Oh man. I don't imagine that's aged well at all.
No. As soon as Scorpion like does this, I was like, this is gonna be terrible. And it was, but it's oh so good. Plus, I can't think of who plays Raiden.
Christopher Lambert.
He just
Like whitest guy they could find to play like the Chinese god of lightning. That's a great call.
He's almost blind, or has been that way for years.
Christopher Lambert?
Yeah, his eyes are so bad. He wears bottle bottoms, from what I understand.
Huh.
Yeah, looking at him right now, he has some serious glasses.
The toddler tried to climb the cat tree.
Uh-oh.
Failed his dexterity save.
Yeah.
3d6.
Yeah. Roll for damage.
Got a good scrape on his back now.
Yeah. Poor kiddo.
He'll live. You need to
Yeah.
toughen up.
You're fucking made of rubber at that age. Like if I took a fall like that, forget it. Just go ahead and put me down. There's no recovering from that.
Just take you out to the pasture, shoot you.
Hello, young one.
This is Otto.
Hello,
What's up, Otto?
They say, what up, man?
The Emperor.
Star Wars shirt, I see. Good taste.
¿Qué pasó, mi amigo?
Do we have a Nicola?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we are all back. We will get going here. So when we last left you, it was night. You were all sleeping. And it seems like almost moments since you laid your head down, Nicola, when all of a sudden a bell is rung and a shout is heard from the crow's nest. As Gull is yelling, "Ship! Ship! I see a ship!"
Charlie is quick to react and kind of still being somewhat awake, maybe from Nicola's visit. rushes out. Gull. A ship?
Aye, Charlie! Aye! Off in the distance, I can barely see it, but it's there. I see it. I was doing just what you said. Keep an eye out for anything suspicious or a ship. And I saw a ship.
Can you see the colors?
Colors, sir?
Of the flag.
No, I can barely see the ship. And he's and you can, from your vantage point, you can see like he's trying to point out starboard side. And with your eyes, you can barely see maybe what appears to be like a storm potentially off in that distance.
Is this ship in the air or on the water?
Are you asking him?
I'm asking you.
You can't see it. You
Okay.
have no idea.
Then I'll ask him.
Oh, it's in the air. It's flying into the storm.
Very well. I'll be back. And I'm going to run I'm gonna run to Argus. So I think your cabin is probably closest to where I'm at. And you'd hear the
Yeah, I'm already like getting half dressed. You see me attaching my sword belt as I open the door. The fuck?
I don't mean to wake you. There's a ship. Gull says it's heading into a storm.
Shit. And I slam the door, get dressed again, and as quickly as I can, we need to move.
I don't know if we can charge the engines with that, but I'm gonna go wake the captain.
From there, I'm yelling down at the crew through the what did we call that? The brass thing that goes down to the engine room.
You were the sailor.
This is not a real thing.
Oh.
It's the whatchamacallit.
Yes. It's a communication tube.
Communication has been
You get a dial tone. Shit.
We're sorry. The number you're trying to reach.
Communication not received.
Rico's Pizza. Damn it.
He just hangs it up. No, this is Patrick. I'll run to Captain Fisk.
I think he likewise roused from bed with the sounding of the bell, and he's finishing getting dressed. And as he knocks on the door, he opens it and says, "What's going on now?"
Gull said he's seen a ship, but more importantly, it seems like there's a storm.
How do we get to it?
I've roused Argus, perhaps. He could better explain that than I could. I'll go wake the rest of the officers.
I do think that, yeah, at this point, Nicola would be like waking Ephriam to get his men together just in case the ship makes a turn or comes towards us, to get the guns ready. And she's, yeah, I guess yelling orders in your stead until you come out, Captain.
Thank you, miss. I'll be directly out there. As you can see him, he still has his pants off. Has no problem showing it off, though.
Like Nicola doesn't even care. Like I feel like being on a ship with all men. Like it's like whatever. It's you gotta wake up. You gotta get your guns ready. I don't care. Right.
Quit pointing that thing at people.
These guns are ready. I'm tired.
Yeah, it's probably not the first time.
I'm right.
Okay, so yeah, he's going to what time of night is it? You said.
At this point, it would be probably very early morning. Sun hasn't quite risen, but you can
Okay.
see that it would be doing so within probably half an hour to an hour. Like,
Okay. So he is going to have those who are awake to start rousing the rest of the crew, and he wants everybody to start taking positions to make sail, so that hopefully when Argus's engine is ready, we're ready to go.
That is what I am yelling down at my crew about. Are
Yeah.
we about ready?
and just to clarify, he was getting it ready so that you could sail motorized on the water, taking it away from
Yes.
going airborne.
Yes. We decided that that would save some of the very, very limited power that we'd be able to generate. Are we ready to go on that?
They have not finished the conversion.
Oh.
So your options are, at this point, what you have, if you're looking at your engines, you can use them as they were meant to be. However, this would deplete the final reserves that you have, and then you would be completely at the mercy of the storm or weather. Or you could try to hurry along the repairs and be able to sail at least on the ocean itself. But then you'd be giving up the ability to fly in the air at all.
I'm sorry, give me 1 second.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we had discussed making the conversion so that we could, like he said, reserve as much as the energy as we could. So I don't know if they've been working on it this whole time.
They have been working on it. They are partially through the conversion. They would not be done yet. They would be done later today.
Okay. Can we tell what direction the storm is moving in? Does it appear like it might be approaching or moving like lateral?
Give me a perception or
Perception.
yeah, that would be the best one. Give me a perception. It will be hard, so that's 3 purple.
Okay. Let's see. That's terrible. That is a complete wash.
So you have no idea which way the storm is moving. It hasn't been long enough.
Is
Yeah,
the
but-
captain up with me at this point?
You're on deck?
Yes.
Yeah.
At the wheel.
He would be.
At the helm.
Yeah, he would be.
Okay. After being reported back that it is not quite ready, I turn to Fisk and tell him, so you have to take the wheel. I'm going down to the engine room myself. I will get us running. And jet down.
Can I help him? Since I probably, to interject, I probably came up on deck to see what's going on and told my men to get ready and offer my mechanics to maybe help his roles.
Awesome. Yeah, you got mechanics?
I'm nowhere near as good as you, but I have some.
Excellent.
Okay, so let me just look that up real quick.
I love these dice. Okay.
Do you want us both to roll, or do you want him to roll with like an advantage or something? Because I have 3 in mechanics.
Okay, so yeah, so if you want to assist, then you will add a boost die to the roll that Argus would do.
Okay. 1 blue
Okay.
with 3 in mechanics. How many yellow does that break out to?
Okay, so you have 3 in mechanics and how much in intellect?
3 as well.
So you'd have 3 yellow dice.
Okay, 3 yellow dice. 1 blue.
Yeah. This is going to be hard because you are trying to do something that would take time and you're trying to
So 3 purple?
sorry, yeah, I meant difficult. I keep saying it'll be difficult because you're trying to words are failing me terribly right now. Trying to speed
Rush?
up the process. Yes, thank you, rush. Such a hard word. So it'll be 4 purples.
4
And I'm
purple.
using a story point actually to make one of them purples a red instead.
I was gonna have to shame you. Isn't that actually a Canadian band?
I'm sorry, what did you say about the story point?
I'm using my story point to make one of those purples a red. So
Oh no.
3 purple and a red. I do know yes, they are a band. If they're Canadian, I don't know.
Okay. The blue did nothing. So that is 3 advantage there and 1 success. Roll that one more time. And that is, what do I call that? A triumph. So I had 1 failure, 1 success, 1 threat, 2 advantage, and 1 triumph. So all out together, 1 advantage and 1 triumph.
Okay, so all your successes and failures washed out,
Yes.
and you're left with an advantage and a triumph.
Yes.
Okay.
What can I do with that triumph?
You can have something really good happen. However, because you have no successes, it does not work. You cannot make it happen in the time.
Can't turn that triumph into a success.
No, but you can make something else wonderful happen with a triumph. You won't get the engines. You won't have the engines online to do what you want, but you have something else instead with the triumph.
With the triumph, while I'm not able to get the engine actually up and running, would I be able to figure out or repair something that would be depleting the energy that we do have as fast? Maybe slow that down.
I like that. So while you are not able to change it over to the engine, like kind of like an outboard motor, like you were hoping, in your tinkerings, you found a way to conserve some energy to give you more reserve, basically, that so you could fly the ship as per normal, and still have a little reserve left, so that you're judging from the distance how far away, that this wouldn't deplete you completely. You would still have some left, at which point you could potentially try to do what you were trying to do again, like outfit it to an outboard order if you needed to.
Cool. Yeah, I would yell up through the communication.
Apparently, a bird built a nest in the tube.
It's just a delay. You know how sound takes time to travel.
Right. I froze.
Yeah, basically, in that whole gibberish that I was saying is basically increased your energy supply by like a couple of days. Not enough to get you to Port Havern, but definitely enough where you could get out of the doldrums.
And help us right now.
And help you right now. Yeah.
Right. So I'm assuming that communique was coming up to the helm.
Yes, I was basically yelling at you that I had stabilized some resistor coil, or make it
Right.
And we are now able to actually leave the water. Do we have enough power to get north to the to where the jet stream would have been that we were talking about earlier?
Yeah, so this you were out at this point. So yeah, basically what you have done is you have kind of given yourself an additional couple of days of propulsion, if you will.
Okay.
It's not enough to get you to Port Havern, but it is enough to hopefully get you out of the doldrums, and like Ephriam said, and in more particular, help you in this situation right now.
Excellent. That's my report, Captain.
And Fisk will tell you to fire up the engines, get us airbound, and he's going to start steering the ship towards that storm if he can, kind of turning the wheel.
Okay.
And Ephriam is gonna like reach up and hold his meaty paw up, and he's like, "Well, it's not the best thing we need, but it's something. I'm gonna go get those lobcocks ready." And he begins walking out to the gun bays to start shouting orders.
All right, so you guys are getting the ship underway. What is your plans?
To sail directly into that storm, I guess. Try to see if we can't collect energy in the storm and keep an eye out for that ship. If it seems like a good target, I think Fisk's idea at least is going to be to attack it.
I love that. We're trying to get to safety in the first instinct. Let's attack it. Let's plunder.
Well, I mean, that's one of the things that the crew's been complaining about, is that we haven't been taking other ships, and if we can kill two birds with one stone, then hell yeah.
And
Plundering,
they might have energy reserves as well, right?
Yeah, that's another great point. Absolutely.
plundering another ship in a thunderstorm. It could not be more epic. So,
What could possibly go wrong?
just for that, 3 black die on the next roll.
All right. So you guys get the engines up and running again. The ship starts to slowly not only go forward, but lift into the air as you head towards where Gull saw that ship. So you kind of had to bank around and slowly come about. And as you get up to speed, he reports back that that the ship that he has sighted is heading directly into the storm itself, not trying to skirt it or anything, but heading directly into it.
Does he have any other information about the ship, like how many masts it has or anything like that?
It's still too far away for
Okay.
even Gull to be able to see.
Sure.
Do we have a spyglass?
I believe that would be even with the spyglass.
Okay.
He's got good eyes, yeah.
Yeah, he does.
All right. So as you guys get up to full speed and you are going, I assume you're going directly into the storm itself. That's what you were saying? Heading directly for it. You get closer and closer until I'm going to assume, Fisk, that you have a spyglass as well, being the captain. So give me a perception check. Hard. So 3 purple.
Perception is cunning. 3 purple. Okay. Let's see. That and that cancels. That cancels, and the other's blank. So yeah, it's another complete and total wash.
Okay, you can't see anything at this point.
We are skirting that neutrality line this whole game.
Don't want to take sides, apparently.
My dice are just like, whatever.
Meh.
No reason to game right now.
Does anybody else want to do anything?
I'm going to stay down in the engine room currently. They're lost without me.
I'm assisting Ephriam.
Yeah, I think that Nicola is getting those who are just like kind of hands on the deck ready in case we're able to take the ship. Just very quickly enable a boarding. Get ready for that if that comes up.
Okay, so you fly even closer to the storm. It is now right there. Captain Fisk, if you are still looking through your spyglass, you can make another roll.
I am sorry for that. If you were talking to me, and Connor just came down. Sorry.
Oh, no.
Okay, so I have 1 success and 3 threats.
Okay, so you are looking through the spyglass and you're kind of trying to scan the area in front of you, the storm, and you see it as well. The ship that Gull has been talking about. It looks like a smaller ship, smaller than your ship. However, it's going directly into what looks to be the worst part of the storm.
Now, is this the kind of thing where, with the storm being more intense, it also has the potential to give more energy? Is it like a 1-for-1 kind of thing?
Yes, I would say they're more apt to be able to get energy from where the storm is the most active. So
Okay.
They definitely looked for where there's the charge in the air is higher.
Okay.
Is it
Go ahead, sorry.
real quick? Is it possible that maybe Argus or myself have done this in the past? Maybe once. So we might have some familiarity with it being mechanics or something, or if we've repaired, we understand the concept.
You tell me, or have either of you guys been storm chasers?
I want to say I have.
I'm going to say that I've done it once before, and we've made it through with damage to the ship, but It was out of necessity. So I'm not as familiar, but Argus has done it before.
Maybe while I was an understudy or a journeyman or whatever, when I lived a legit life, I perhaps worked under a guy similar to my position now on a storm chaser.
Yeah, so then you would know how difficult it is to fly in the storm. I mean, to like gather the energy while you're in the storm, and you know that your ship isn't really equipped with a proper equipment to do that well. It would be extremely dangerous. However, you know what to do once you're in there. If that.
Well, it's simple, really. We have to reach 88 knots.
And maintain it.
Is this the kind of thing that Argus would need to be at the helm to do, or in the engine room?
Both, really, because he would need somebody in the engine room that knows how to do this. If that's what if you're trying to harness it yourself, then somebody in the engine room has to know what to do. But then you'd also need somebody on deck who could, not navigate, but
Pilot
well enough. Properly.
What does piloting fall under?
So for this
operating?
Yeah, for this ship, because of the size of it, it is operating.
That is not Fisk. He should not be the one doing this.
Would I be able to quickly give a basic rundown of what Ephriam would need to do once I gave him a signal? Even if it means giving him like a red dice on a roll.
So you're talking for him for mechanics wise, like in the
Yes.
engine room?
Yeah. While I operate the ship itself, I can communicate through the tubing to him down there. And once I give a signal, maybe he rolls a mechanics roll, maybe with a red die, maybe.
Yeah. So the mechanics, it would be in this case. So you could, Ephriam would have a difficult mechanics roll to roll.
Okay.
Would Nicola be
do-
able to go
go
down
ahead.
and help? Sorry, would Nicola be able to go down and help? She does have some mechanics, like definitely the least amount, but I mean,
Yep.
working with her arm and working with other, like she has a base knowledge.
Yeah, you would be able to give Ephriam a boost die by assisting him.
And I have one in piloting. Or operating rather. At least I might understand what Argus might be saying if he slips in some operating jargon there. So I would imagine that he looks to Charlie and he says, "You've got this." And
What?
You've got the guns.
No, I don't.
Aren't you down there helping me?
I am, but okay.
Just
I got it.
remember.
You go right
Yeah.
on ahead.
You got this.
I got this.
Listen to Pierre's brother over there.
Pablo?
Yeah, Pablo. He's got it.
He's only got one hand.
Oh.
You could learn from him.
Ouch.
Well, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings.
I don't have those.
I need to go. And he just
You need to go.
And he just goes bounding up the stairs back to the machine room.
Okay, so if I get this right, Captain is on deck. Argus quickly goes over what's needed to be done to Ephriam and Nicola, who are down in the engine room now. And then once they have been briefed, Argus goes up on deck to the helm. Charlie, meanwhile, is down with the guns.
Yes.
All right.
Something had to be done, and we did it.
Okay, so what are we going to do here?
We're going to blow this fucker up. That's what we're going to do.
You are flying into the storm. I need you to make me, at this point, an average operating roll.
An average what? I'm sorry.
Operating.
Gotcha. Come here, sheep. Where are you? Operating. It's 2 yellers. I need to get better at operating. 1 green. That's 2 purple.
Yeah, 2 purple.
Okay. So I got 2 successes, 1 failure, 1 advantage, 2 threats, and 1 what's it called? Shit. Triumph. So 1 success, 1 triumph, and 1 threat overall.
Okay. So you are managing to pilot the ship into the storm.
As I do.
Yes. And unless you have a better thing for the triumph, you've actually found maybe a corridor that seems to be less volatile and will allow you to get into the storm quicker.
Love it.
Where you need to be. Threat, you're to take a strain for this. 1 strain damage. Captain Bronze.
I'd take a strain?
Yeah, you take 1 strain.
Okay.
Yeah. Captain Fisk, I will let you have another perception roll. You're now closer to the storm, so this one will be. What was the last one? Was it hard?
Yes, it was 3, so hard.
So this one will be average, so 2.
Damn it, Dave.
So that is 1 failure.
Maybe as you were looking, you're trying to find the ship and see what, like its markings or whatever. Just as you're looking and you're about to, hopefully get a look at, see it, a lightning crash just kind of blinds you through the spyglass holes and you are unable to see anything.
Yeah, he curses, damn it! And he kind of looks away and kind of puts his eyes kind of into the crook of his elbow for a second. Then he calls up, Gull, find that damn ship!
I got it, sir. It's to starboard. Slightly.
And he kind of turns to Scheffley, turn to starboard. Listen to Gull. I think Fisk is actually gonna stop trying to find this ship himself. Just let the 2 of them sort it out because he's clearly not made for this, and he's going to go check on the status of the guns, the gun deck.
Cool. And I think at this point too, so Gull calls down to Argus, about the ship, because you banked it slightly to starboard, and he's like, yes, there it is. It's one of those storm chaser ships.
I'm sorry, I got cut out there. What was that?
It's one of them storm chaser ships.
What we're chasing is?
Yeah, the ship in the storm ahead of you.
A big old grin comes across my face. Captain, I believe our troubled days are behind us.
Overtake the ship if you can. When we're near, turn to port.
Oi! And I get right to it.
This is going to start yelling for everybody to batten down the hatches. I imagine the storm's probably starting to pick up and get a little more fierce. And then he's going to, like I said, head down to the gun deck and make sure that the starboard side cannons are ready so that whenever we turn port, they're ready and primed.
All right, that's going to bring us into somewhat like a chase, but not quite. There we go. Okay, so Argus, you're going to make a check, an operating roll at each round, at the end of each round. We're going to do that, okay? This will be contested against the other ship's operating roll.
Okay.
Now, each PC will have an action that they can use to do something to affect this contested roll, whether it be, like if the time comes, like shooting guns, I don't know, like doing something with the rigging, anything you can think of that you could consistently help or hinder the other ship with this roll. In the document, there are, I don't know what page it's on, page 32 or something. There are maneuvers and actions, etc., that people can take if you want to take something specific. So some actions that you do can give auto successes or failures on that contested roll that we're talking about, and some actions will give a boost or a setback die. Those will be decided as we do those actions. If you want to board the ship, you must be engaged with it, which means you have to close the distance. Right now you are at far, we'll say. Once your ships are within range and sight of your weapons, then you can then start using them if you want to. This will affect your piloting roll or your operating roll. Sorry, instead of affecting the operating roll, you could fire weapons. So that's once you're in range. So that's the crux of it. That'll bring us to, what does everybody want to do on this round? And then the operating roll will come at the very end.
So Baron actually made a really good point. I think Fisk would probably know more so than I would have realized that shooting this would be potentially ruining or jeopardizing the energy that's on board or anything of value that they may have. So I think instead of preparing the guns to fire immediately, he's going to start trying to prepare boarding parties, getting people ready for that. Grappling hooks and gangplanks and all that kind of stuff ready.
Yeah, and as you also have various types of shot you could be using in your guns, right? Like there's chain shot, which you could use to destroy the ship's masts if you wanted to do that. There's grape shot, where you're just trying to pepper the people on the other deck. It's not going to do much damage to the ship itself, but will kill people. You can also start fires because you have what you call heated shot. They take time to heat up, but they would start fires on the ship. Now that's kind of destroys the ship. Then you also have what I don't know what to call it, but basically like large harpoon ones where you could shoot in and attach to the ship.
Oh, that'd be great to board on.
Yeah, absolutely.
You'd have to be definitely in short range to be able to use those ones.
Okay, so maybe the pepper shot for now, until we get in range for the harpoons.
Yeah, I think also pepper shot, because you're trying to hit, that would also be probably require short range.
Okay.
Both of those would have to be short range. Once you fire, let's say like that, like the harpoon ones, you could use them to pull you into that engaged range where you could then board.
Right.
Pepper shot could be used as you're setting that up. I think chain shot and the heated shot could still be done at medium range, but
Okay.
and
So, yeah.
regular shot. Yeah.
For now, I think he's just going to prepare borders because they're too far out. So he's just going to get people ready for that.
Okay. So, Captain, you are preparing your crew to board, is what you're doing. Okay, so that will not affect the piloting roll. It is getting you prepared.
Communication received.
Ephriam, what are you doing?
Ephraim's having a mental breakdown from the meltdown, rather, because he doesn't understand what he needs to be doing. So he calls out on the brass thing. He's like, "Captain, are we belaying the order? Am I needed on the gun deck?"
You said that collecting energy was dangerous, like apart from actually just being in the storm itself?
Yes, because your ship isn't rigged for it, so it will have some inherent damage. Yes, you could.
Okay. Aye. Stay that order for now. Get back to the gun deck. Spare who
Aye.
you can for boarding action.
And I look to Nicola and I say, "I don't think we're needed right now in this room." And he nods to her and he just starts bounding off like a rooster, as he does, because when he moves at a gated pace, he kind of waddles back and side to side and comes, I would imagine he comes rounding sooner or later into there, and then I'll start shouting where we're going to go when I can, what shots we're going to load.
Well, if Fisk is preparing the boarding parties, then I'm out of here. I'm going to go join the boarding parties.
And Nicola?
Nicola's going to also run upstairs, but she wants to do a scan the enemy action.
Okay. Okay, so basically I think you probably take that, maybe you take that spyglass that Captain has left just lying there, and you can use that. Go ahead and make that hard perception check.
Hard is 3, correct?
Yeah, 3 purple.
Perception. Okay, I got 3 threat.
Okay, so maybe it's flashing too much. The lightning is hampering your vision too much. With 3 threat, I'm going to say that you are temporarily blinded for a turn.
Oh no.
So for 1 round, you cannot see.
Okay.
That brings us to Argus. Argus, you are going to make an operating check. You have you're operating, whatever that skill is, but you are going to have a black die, a setback die, because of the handling of your ship, because of how big it is.
Okay.
Okay. And
Any purples?
no, because you're going to do a contested one. So the other ship is going to roll for their operating.
Cool. Well, that is 3 advantage minus 1 threat, so that's 2 advantage, 1 success, and 1 triumph.
Okay, so you are, sorry, you said 1 threat and 2 advantage?
Yeah, I had 3 advantage and 1 threat, so cancel the threat with the advantage, and I got 2, 1 success, and no failures, and 1 triumph.
Okay, so you actually, they got 2 successes, so you beat them, which means you are gaining on them by that triumph. So, and you have 2 advantages as well. So I would say that they're not even aware of you at this point, and you have gained, you are now long range from them. Maybe you're coming from below or whatever, but it doesn't look like, from what you can see from the way they're moving, that they have even noticed you yet.
Argus has got his goggles tied across his face, and he is grinning from ear to ear. My chest is thumping through, my heart is thumping through my chest. This is why I'm alive.
All right. We'll go around again. What is everyone doing? We'll start with Nicola. Nicola, you are blinded. So what are you going to do this round?
Stumble everywhere. No, I think she's just taking the moment just to kind of like head down, hands over her eyes, just trying to gain back some semblance of sight and where she is and where she needs to go. So she's just going to take that moment to
heal back up again.
Yeah.
All right. Who wants to go next?
So I would imagine that I pass Charlie running down the thing, and I come barreling into the room. Are they already prepared with the first shot? Are we in range to fire? We were starting with grape shot.
Yeah, no, you're not within range of fire. I don't know if they've actually managed to do that yet. So this would be the time to change out the shot.
Okay, so get those balls out of there. We need the grapes. Bring me the chains. So we start working on that.
Okay, perfect. Charlie or Captain?
If we have a boarding party ready, maybe I'm attending to what rigging I can without completely disengaging from being ready.
Yep. Sure. Give me a What are you trying to do with the rigging? Trying to make it so that you have the better, like.
We've been stuck in the doldrums for the better part of a couple days, I believe. So I'm sure that we're not as battened down as we could be if we're hauling ass into a storm after a ship. So just making sure that we're secure.
Okay, give me a coordination check.
Uh,
This will be hard. So 3 purple.
altogether, 1 advantage.
Okay, so you don't quite succeed on doing that, so we're not going to get anything for the operating check for later. But you have an advantage that you could use. To, I don't know, we could say to give yourself a boost die next time if you want. Okay, beautiful. Captain.
So you said we're in long range now?
Yeah.
Okay, so he seems to be satisfied with the preparedness of everybody, ready for boarding actions. So he's actually going to take his blunderbuss. And I would like to use the aim maneuver. I would like to try to shoot their pilot with my blunderbuss.
Okay, I should clarify. You're at long range ship-wise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's
For weapon
far.
range, it's different.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, never mind. Instead, let's see. There aren't any repairs that need to be made to the ship, like manual repairs is an additional action.
Yeah, not at this time. Your ship.
I imagine it's probably actually been repaired while we were sitting there. For
Yeah. To keep everybody
Forever.
sane, it's probably
Right.
the most repaired it's ever been.
Right. Okay, so he's just going to continue to basically hold his action or ready, whatever the equivalent is in Genesys.
Okay. That is everyone. So, Argus, make your roll again. It's unmodified, so it's still your operating roll with 1 setback die.
So I have 3 success, 1 failure, 1 advantage. So 2 success, 1 advantage.
Okay. They got 3 success and 2 advantage. So normally you'd
to say no.
Yeah. So you would normally expect that at this point that they would start pulling away from you because you're having a little bit more difficulty. But what you've noticed is that they were decelerating. And while you were accelerating, they were decelerating. So even still that they beat you in this roll, you are now within medium range. If you're coming up, you're kind of coming up behind them though, right? So you've only got your front guns that will be facing them. However, they have seen you.
Okay.
Okay. Now it brings us back to the top. Who would like to go first?
So we're not really we're now within range to fire on them, but we're not in a position with the guns pointed at them, right?
Yeah, you'd only at this point have your front guns, which are short range guns.
And we're kind of medium range right now?
Yeah.
I'm going to take the shot because I'm very confident about I'm dying to fire some can. So I move up there and I just push the other guys out of the way and I get the fuse and I just lean forward and I wait for the right moment and I'm going to take the shot.
Okay, what's a gunnery, please?
Okay, so it's going to be, I have a 4 in gunnery, excuse me. And so what's the, purple die count?
In this case, you would be at medium range. So that would be an average of 2. However, your guns can only shoot short. So I'm going to make those both red die instead of
Okay.
die.
Can I use a story point to give me another boost?
Absolutely. It would upgrade one of your dies.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah, change one from a green to a yellow. Oh, and sorry, you have one setback die because they are a smaller ship than you guys are. 1 level smaller.
Okay.
Okay.
2. Okay, so I got 3 success, 2 advantage, and 3 threat. So that ends with, go ahead.
I was going to say, also, sorry, your forward guns are accurate 1, so you would get 1 of the boost dies as well. So a blue die.
Okay. That was a wash, but thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. So the 3 success are washed out with the threat. I have 2 advantage, but because of one of my talents, I can convert advantages to successes. So I now have 2 successes.
Okay, so were they threats or were they failures? The 3.
I apologize. May have been reading it wrong. So it's the circle with the 3 lines through it. So it's threats. So I have to take out my advantage. So I do have 1 threat.
Okay, 1 threat, but then you still have
So
3
1 threat. Yeah, and 3 successes. Sorry for the confusion.
Okay, 1 threat, 3 successes. And you're aiming for the ship?
Well, in this case, it was following the captain's commands. We were to start with the sails, right? We wanted to hit the sails first with the grape shot to tear them up.
Sure, that sounds like a good plan.
Chain shot would rip the sails. Grape shot will be for the people on board.
Right. So at this range, I want to shoot at their sails. So I'm going for obliterating their sails and lowering their movement.
Okay, then roll me. So 3 successes, that adds 2. So you get 2 additional on your damage. Your forward gun does 1 damage. So you do 3 damage to their sails. Okay, so while you, maybe because of the range and how far away, it doesn't seem to do as much damage as you thought, but you definitely could see that it has cracked. It did hit some. You do see wood debris flying from one of their masts as you.
And canvas tears appearing.
At this range, you can't tell if it
Oh,
hit
right,
that or
right.
not. Yeah.
Okay. Well, with the keen eye of Delagny, he can see it. I'm just kidding. All right. So then he shouts orders to begin reloading the front cannons, and I think that's
Okay. That brings us to somebody else. Who else would go?
What does medium vehicle range translate to in weapon range?
Almost like 10 times.
Oh wow. Okay, never mind
Yeah.
then.
Yeah. So once your ship is engaged with the other ship, then we would be down to like the personal range. So if you're on your ship, in the middle of your ship, and they're on the middle of their ship, that would still be far. Right. And then you'd go long, medium, short. Yeah.
I'm gonna hold.
Pardon me?
So I'm gonna hold.
You're gonna hold your action?
Ready myself to throw myself. Or well, we won't be engaged until hypothetically 2 turns, or is it because they're slowing down we may get close enough to them next turn?
There's possibility that you could, depending on how well Argus can maneuver his ship and how quickly they can get going.
Well, then I'm gonna just get prepared to throw myself onto their ship.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to start with the aim maneuver. Again, I know that we're out of range for my weapon, but I'm going to start aiming now, so that way when I have the chance to actually open fire, I will already be sighted in, whatever.
Perfect. Okay.
So
All right, Argus, let's make that roll. You still have 1 setback die.
Cool. That is 1 threat, 3 advantage, 2 success. So 2 success, 2 advantage.
Okay, they got 2 success, 1 advantage.
Ween.
Yeah, but you can tell that they have seen you and they were trying to accelerate, but they had already decelerated some. Meanwhile, you guys are still going at full speed towards them. And with the fact that you actually got 1 advantage more than they did, you have managed to close the distance. You are now at short range. However, you're going faster than them. So
Okay.
at this point, you've caught up. You could end up blowing past them, depending on how the next roll goes or what you guys do in the next round. But you are now coming alongside them.
All right.
All right, who wants to go?
So, sir, how close are we now to?
Within short range, you're almost broadside them. You are going faster than them.
I think Nicola's going to ready the action if that means to like ready a rope to be able or I guess could we hit them with that harpoon things, or are those not on deck? Those are in the gunnery area?
Yeah, those
Okay.
things were in the gunnery, maybe the broadside guns. I'm not sure if that's where you guys were doing, but yes. However, you'd also have your own those boarding guns. They shoot out a grappling hook.
Okay. And it's just too far, so she's just going to ready that action to with a boarding hook.
Okay. So, Captain, yeah, to answer your question, you'd be engaged if you can manage to hook their ship and reel them into you. Otherwise, you'll stay at short range.
Okay. And had the grapple shot, has the grapple shot been prepared?
I will leave that to your gunner.
Yeah, I would imagine that we are in between. We've staged the guns so that basically we're going to do half the guns with grape, and then we're going to move to we're going to quickly exchange with the when we're close enough, we're going to fire the ropes.
Yeah, so on each side, like you have 2 decks of cannons on each side of the ship. So you've got like 12 9-pounders on one side and 7 6-pounders. So you could have the 2 types already in those 2 decks if you wanted to. So you could fire one deck and then fire the second deck.
And I would imagine that I've probably called up with this the brass tubing that I'm like, we need the broadside. So just remind, I'm sure that Argus knows this, but he's just being remindful. We need the broadside to give him the full brunt of the attack.
And you are broadside right now.
Oh, all right. So the next shot is going to be the grape, and then the next one is hopefully going to be the firing the rope.
Well, if more than one of us can direct, Fisk will just yell down to one of the decks, whichever one Ephriam's not on, for them to fire.
Yeah, so one of you could fire the one deck and the other could fire the other deck. So it would require a gunnery check from each of you. Yeah.
I only have 1 in gunnery, but it's not nothing. So which do we want to have? Which do we want to be more accurate? The buckshot or the grapples?
I would say the grapples personally, because that lets us get there faster.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you cool with firing the grape shot?
Yeah. That's going to cause them to get their heads down and duck for cover.
Sure.
And that'll give us more of a range to fire into the wood. Yeah.
Okay. Then I'll fire the grape shot and you can fire the grapples.
Okay. What are we up against?
Okay, so you guys are at short range. So that'll be
no purple.
I just lost my sheet for that.
So you're looking for the cheat sheet info?
Yeah, I think
range
it's
bands.
1 for
short range is 1 difficulty.
1 difficulty
for range band.
So it'll be 1 purple for short range. Whoever fires first will have their gunnery check is unmodified. The second person is going to have to add a setback die.
Let me take the setback.
Okay.
Because I have a better one. So I guess I'll be going first.
The second one will have the setback die, right?
Yeah, the second shot will have a setback. So if whoever's taking the setback wants to do this, to hold off right now, and the other person fires first.
So Jeremy, you'll go first.
Okay. All right. So I've got a 2 agility, 1 in gunnery, and then 1 difficulty. So it's a purple, a yellow, and a green.
Yep.
One of each, like Mardi Gras. Okay. So that washes one of those that leaves 0 successes and 1 advantage. No successes or failures, but 1 advantage.
Okay. So I believe it probably does what you wanted it to do anyway, and that is to cause havoc on the deck. So the people are scurrying away and around, leaving Ephriam, your shot.
Okay, so an X is a failure, takes out one of my successes. So I have 3 advantages so far. 4 advantages and a success, and I can convert advantage to success. I'm trying to find that here. Yeah, when making checks, change advantage to success. So that is a total of, what did I say? 1 advantage and 4 successes.
I think you had 1 success and 4 advantage.
Okay, and then
I think is what you said.
And then I got 1 more of each. So 5
you're-
advantage and 2 successes. So I'm converted all to 7 successes.
All right. So yeah, those basically harpoon, grappling hook things skewer the other ship and pull you in. So the ships are now engaged. Because you are going faster than them, it's also pulling them slightly off course from where they were, which is probably exactly where you needed to be. Charlie.
That's how it's done, boys.
And Nicola.
I'm gonna try. Does that bring us close enough to engage them?
Yeah, you could now try to board.
Oh, well, then I'm gonna try to board.
All right. How are you boarding, Charlie?
I'm up in the rigging,
Mhm.
and with one of the grappling hooks, I'm trying to shoot into their rigging, so I can get like a spinning arc, or not a spinning, a swinging arc.
Okay. Give me a shot for this. That'll be considered a long range on your weapon, so you will be
Okay.
3 difficulty.
3 difficulty.
Yeah.
It's a good thing I'm the best gunslinger on the sea.
I thought you were going to give Karen shit about having your 3rd purple die.
No, I have him now. I have him now.
I know I have to make his things difficult for him now, just to.
Just trying, buddy. Please stop talking. I'm not engaged with an opponent, so that wouldn't. With 5 pips, I would have 2 triumphs or 2 yellows
So you have 5 ranks.
in ranged. Yeah.
Yeah, and then what is your agility?
My agility is 3.
So you'd have 3 yellow, 2 green, and 3 purple.
Buddy, you gotta go. You gotta go. Okay. So okay. I gotta re-roll one of my yellows. Okay. We are looking at 2 success, 1 advantage.
Okay, so you hit, and you have an advantage. So you can tell me what you're going to do with that.
I had an advantage from before
I
as
just
well.
remembered that. Yeah, you had a boost die, so you should roll that again. Roll a blue die and add 2.
I don't have the cheat sheet in front of me. Can I just give myself a bonus die on my next round with that advantage again?
You can give a bonus die to somebody else.
I'm gonna give it to Nicola.
Sure.
So maybe like I just took the attention off her and onto me as I boarded.
Perfect. Nicola.
Yeah. Nicola's firing the gun and gonna board.
Okay. Again, 3 purple, and you have a boost die.
Sweet.
And you guys still have story points too.
And that was a what? Sorry. What kind of check?
Yeah, ranged. because you're shooting a gun.
Range. Okay. Mhm.
And you have
Yeah,
story
I am
points.
going to use a story point to upgrade one of my dice.
Yeah, so it changes a green to a yellow.
Yes. Do I have anything to help me? I don't think so. Wait, let me just. Okay. That's 2 success and 4 threat.
Okay. So I think you make it over there, right? You board. However,
Okay.
you misjudged your landing and you fall prone.
Oh. Yep. Okay.
Okay. And that brings us to Argus. This will probably be the last operating roll that you will need to make. So nothing has changed on your end. However, the other ship has gotten setback dies because they are being pulled from you.
Oh yeah. 1 threat, 1 advantage, and 3 success.
Okay, so you've got basically 3 success.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have 1 success and 1 advantage. So your ship has got them completely at your whim, basically. They are attached to you. They are flying at your speed in your direction, attached to you. And I think that's where we're going to stop for this evening, and we will have the boarding party next time. Thank you, everyone, for playing along, and anyone who's watching or will watch in the future for coming along with us on this ride as these guys are about to board their ship.
Lightning, thunder.
We haven't got to do this in a while. I feel like we haven't
No.
boarded a ship since we were being destroyed by oil fairies.
Pretty much, yeah.
We have those here in Texas. Oil fairies.
Oil fairies.
I think we're talking about 2 different things.
No. No.
No judgment.
All right. I'm going to throw it back to the players to do their outros if they'd like to say anything. We're going to start with Jason.
Hi, everybody. Appreciate you watching. Again, I'm Jason. I was piloting this ship like a boss tonight. As always, I enjoy these games, and I think I'm finally like clicking with the whole Genesys thing. It's not as much reference back and forth as I'm trying to figure out what these story dice mean. But yeah, I really love this system. I enjoy every time we get in and play this game. So looking forward to the next session where we get to be pirates once again. Yar.
Thank you, Jason. Next we have Em.
There we go. Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm and this has been great. I love being a pirate, and I'm so excited. And Nicola's excited to finally just plunder and kill some innocent people. It'll be great.
Murder.
And murder. Yes. So much murder, so much pillaging. It'll be fantastic.
Everyone has to have goals, right?
Mhm.
Next we have Jeremy.
Everybody, once again, I am Jeremy. I'm very, very fortunate, and I get to play in several different groups, and each one of them is a very unique collection of individuals, and every single one of them is a group of people that I really, really have a wonderful time with playing, people that I consider to be really, really close friends, and there's something special about being able to play these kinds of games with people that are so special to you, and I'm very appreciative of that. And again, like everybody else has said, getting the chance to play a pirate and just be really mean and nasty is a lot of fun. It's very cathartic, and trying to keep some kind of order in all of this is not easy as a captain, but it's very fun to try to play that that line of chaos and lawlessness, but also trying to have order and maintain control. So it's a fun challenge. I've enjoyed playing this character a lot, but it's largely to do with the fact that this group of people is great at playing disgusting, awful human beings. Compliment with the back of the hand. So yeah, love you guys. Karen, a great job as always. I'm very excited to kind of get back into some more piratey goodness, boarding actions, and we get to steal stuff, and I'm sure somebody's going up on a rope at some point. So yeah, I've had fun. I can't wait until the end of the month when we get to play again.
Yay. Yeah. I mean, every once in a while you have to kind of let the wicked out, right? And just let it go. Dave.
Yes, and like Em, I am glad that we didn't have to shoot the crew. We can cause violence on another crew because it was boiling up to that. Might have been the officers against the whole crew. That'd have been interesting. And Jeremy, I'd feel personally attacked about filthy people. I just
You should.
Okay.
Dave, you should.
Well, Delaney's personally attacked, but yeah. Such a great game, and basically I'm echoing what's already been said, but it's true, and it's excellent to be able to get together with these folks and just laugh and carry on and build off of our jokes or our schemes. And it's almost like we hit these sinks, and then next thing you know, the dominoes start falling, and something's going to get blown up, or somebody's going to die.
Yeah, it's almost inevitable, I think. Last but not least, we have Baron.
Hey everyone, I'm Baron. I am a member of the Absolute Tabletop page. Go check that out because it's super rad and super enjoyable. I feel like Charlie got some trouble on the horizon, but it's cool. What's new with my characters not having moments of reprieve. As always, it's super fun playing with you guys, and very thankful I get to do this as often as I do, even though I hate to say it, it's never enough. Thank you.
And thank you, everyone. I'm really glad to be able to dive back into this game again. I mean, who doesn't like playing a pirate, right? So anyway, thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone out there. And we are going to call this a wrap.